You know how it goes. We're going to start, but we're also going to spread the message of love on Twitter, on, well, that's pretty much the only place that I share these two. So, yeah, copy. Let's go to Twitter. What's up? 0 viewers currently. What's going on? I'm gonna pretend like there's actually somebody in chat, like I always do. What should the message be today? Look at my face saying words about burbs. Don't correct it to birds with a D. I know what I'm doing. Don't tell me what to do. I've done this before. Now, look at those juicy, when I look for these tags, I'm always like, I look for them and I think, how is Twitch just not always trending? There's got to be like 30,000, 100,000, 50 million people online just on Twitch alone. So you have to ask yourself, why is it not always trending? It would not make sense for it to never not be trending. Okay, that's enough. That's good. People get the idea. All the tags that I put in there, everyone understands the idea. There's no point in keeping this right now because, I mean, I can see everything here on stream, or everything here on screen. I guess on stream as well, but everything here on my computer. I just took a big old chug of lactose-free 2% milk, so let's go ahead and clear that out. Welcome to the Wednesday show. We're going to call it the Wednesday show until I give more of a shit to make a better name for it. Or, I guess, think of a better name for it. It's not really the Wednesday show. It's more of like the show that I do, and it happens to be a Wednesday. But if that's not my style, I don't know what is. I mean, that's like perfectly me, isn't it? And even though I saw it in like pre-production, even though I saw my voice, even though I see my levels here, I have all my sound off on my screen on my side. And even though I have everything off here and I can see my audio levels, I still always come down here to check and see. Yeah, video capture device sounds off, mic aux off, desktop audio is off. Okay, cool. We'll have to play with that in the future too. Like I might do like a little test stream and see how desktop audio stuff works. I don't really do too many videos. I guess I could in the future, but I'm kind of rambling at this point. Yesterday, I said I was going to talk about Elon Musk, and we are going to talk about Elon Musk, but not right now. I have two bird-related, well, not bird, but two animal-related topics that I wanted to talk about today. The first one was birds with a D, as you could probably figure out by now. And it's again not a serious topic. I might just start off with like stupid shit that I just think about throughout the day, and kind of get around to talking about, formulating some opinion on, while I'm sitting there doing work or pretending to do work or looking for other work to do, And today, a special little birdie triggered a memory from about, back around the time that COVID hit America. So the deal is, I left the job in Dallas, came down here to the south part of Texas, near, in the RGV area, we'll say, okay? I got here, And a few weeks after I got here, the COVID lockdown started taking effect. And we're not going to talk about COVID too much, but as you know, if you were pretty much anywhere on Earth during that time, everybody pretty much had to stay in their house, or you could go to Walmart, the corner stores like CVS and Walgreens, or you could go to the gas stations. That's about it. Consequently, animals that rely on humans for scraps happen to move away from their natural territory. So rats might have died off in some amount, mice and rats. Cats might have started coming closer to people's houses in the city. And seagulls, which are a thing down here, started invading our human territory more. Normally, if you've ever been to the beach, seagulls like to just chill out around the beach because people either give them food or they leave food there carelessly and they pick it up and, go about their seagull day. Some of them are so aggressive to the point where they'll actually swoop down and take your food from you. And there's not too many animals that will actually do that. Some raccoons will, but on average, if you're going to have an aggressive creature come and steal your food, it's either going to be a bear, which doesn't really count because bears know or just don't care that they're, in your shit. Seagulls don't care. Like I said, on average, they're probably the number one creature besides like a bear or, some other kind of wild, big, husky creature that doesn't care that would actually come along and steal your food, take your food. So I come down here, COVID lockdowns start taking effect. And as another consequence of that, it greatly limits what you can actually do outside. And with this area being so focused on being outside in nature, you kind of have this dynamic of even more extreme isolation, it feels like. Because normally you can go out in the world and do your normal stuff. You can go to bars, clubs, pool halls, if they still have those, movies, restaurants, etc. And we all have that here, but we also have the beach. And like 60 to 70% of the area around here is actually a massive nature preserve or reserve. Reserve? We'll say nature reserve. It's one big, massive nature reserve. And it's the same throughout the whole Rio Grande Valley. It's the same. There's nature reserves and birding centers and, wildlife refuges, and just nature centers and zones of their protection around here. More than back where I was from, like by a lot. The closest thing we had back where I was from was probably farms, and that was a good 20 minutes away from the city. So you had people having to stay in their houses more. Seagulls, mainly seagulls, coming by people's houses more. And and creating a bit of a sticky situation. So where I was going when I started on my isolation topic was that one of the consequences of staying inside is you sort of look for stuff to do around the house. You have to start picking up stuff. You have to start filling out your area, filling out your zone, seeing what there actually is to do around the house without going crazy. And one of the coolest things down here is the birds outside. Not the seagulls, but the other birds. I've seen orioles, I've seen cardinals, I've seen blue jays, I've seen hummingbirds. Hummingbirds are cool. We had like a flock of them, or a pack. Look, we should see what a pack of hummingbirds is called. A swarm of hummingbirds come along. And woodpeckers, the normal grackles, and a few other different types of birds too. But the hummingbirds were the most common ones, surprisingly. Besides the grackles, I guess. I guess grackles would probably be the most common that flew by, and besides seagulls. So anyway, the point was, you start to look outside. You start to look under beds for games. You start to look on your computer and on your PlayStations and Xboxes and Netflix, and you start to just look for all these outlets for your attention and your exploration. And so I found birds One of mine was birds in nature. Besides the birds, we had like prairie dogs come by, a little family running through the yard, picking up all the bird seed that we threw out there and all the soot, all the other little extra food that we had laying around that we didn't want. They would eat it. And when you start looking at birds, you start realizing, okay, we have a pretty big impact on their actual nature, on their actual behavior. You can go out there and put some hummingbird feeders up, and you'll see within a week a dozen or so different hummingbirds coming by and feeding off your nectar, your little juice you put out there for them. The same thing with soot. We got these little soot cages that you can load up the soot into, snap it up, and just hang it off the tree, and they'll come by, and the grackles and the other little pecking bird, the pecking type birds will come by and peck at it for a few days. When they're coming through, there's so many and they're so hungry that they destroy any food that you put out there for them, and that's fine. It's cheap, and it's not offensive. It's not an offensive thing because you want to do it. You want to feed them. Everyone, like half the houses around here, seriously have either a hummingbird feeder, a bird house, a bird feeder, or just some type of like hand thrown bird food for the birds when it's that time of the year. And so it's a common thing that I picked up, mostly because of lockdown. Let me see what a flock of hummingbirds. What do they call it? A group of hummingbirds isn't a peep, murder, host, or posse. These terms belong to chickens, crows, sparrows, and turkeys, respectively. A group of hummingbirds is called a charm. Oh, that's cute. And the footage above shows just how charming these little birds are when they feed together. A charm of hummingbirds. So yeah, we had a few charms in our day. And we have ones, little feeders look like this. Now, if it were just hummingbirds that came by and that we cared about, that'd be fine. But anything bigger than little pellets, anything bigger than the tiny little pellets, little seeds that you get in the bird feed bags, the seagulls will see it and they'll come and pick it up. So the seeds they'll come and pick up, the actual sunflower seeds, the bigger ones, they'll come and pick up. There are certain larger seeds that they'll also pick up. The soot, they'll come by and they'll destroy the soot within, an hour or so of putting it out. You can't put out any solid food that's larger than your pinky because they'll see it. They have pretty good eyes. I mean, they're scavengers. I think by nature they can hunt, but I think they're naturally scavengers out there in the ocean, eating dead fish and viscera from destroyed creatures. But if it's big enough, they'll see it and they'll eat it. And so I stupidly put out large enough things for them to see and for them to eat. But I didn't know that at first. I put it out there for other creatures, for other birds, for the grackles, because they'll eat it too. For other, birds that might want to pick it up. For the prairie dogs. We don't really have like skunks, squirrels, possums. We don't really have any of that down here. Dingoes, not dingoes, but coyotes. Not the same thing, but we don't really have any of those guys. It's mostly just birds, snakes. I've seen a few pretty good sized snakes before down here. And prairie dogs, apparently. I didn't know that there was that many prairie dogs next to the, right next to the coast, but there are. And so, after a few days of doing this, maybe even a week or more, I started watching them. I started watching the food, the big chunks of food that I put down, and sure enough, the seagulls would come down and they would just take all the food from all the other birds that I was trying to feed. I think some of them might have even started picking up the little smaller pebbles, the little smaller seeds from, I don't know what kind of seeds they are, but they were picking up the large food and they were eating the soot. A few weeks went by and I also noticed that there were a nesting pair of mockingbirds in this little younger, maybe, younger, middle-aged palm tree. I don't know how old the palm tree is, but it's shorter than me. It's a big old fat thing, they grow like 4 or 5 feet wide in just a few years, but it was only like, 5.5, maybe 6 feet tall. Anyway, the point is I saw a nesting pair of hummingbirds, and they had 3 or 4 little chicks. Or they had 3 or 4 eggs, and I want to say that we got to the point where I think 3 of them hatched. Now, the point of the story is that one, even predator or even scavengers can act like predators at times. If they saw those little birds or the eggs, they would totally eat the eggs or eat the baby birds. They pick it up and then give it a little bird snap, kill the little birds, and then just swallow them whole. You can even see videos online. I'd go and show you, but I don't really care enough to do it, I guess, right now, of larger seabirds picking up like rabbits and frogs, smacking them a couple times, and then just gobbling those suckers whole. It's kind of amazing, really. It's amazing if it weren't so so brutal. I mean, that's nature, but it's brutal to witness. So anyway, these birds are over here taking everyone's food, larger than the tiniest little pebble, and I'm just completely, I'm not freaking out, but I'm not happy about it. I can see the mockingbirds swooping at them. I can see other birds swooping at them. I can see the seagulls swooping at other birds just to be assholes, just because they're bigger than like 90% of the birds over here. There's a few species that aren't bigger than them, but like I said, the orioles, the jays, the cardinals, the grackles, the seagulls are bigger than all of those, and they're bigger than anything else that really comes by the area, and that was coming by during the first few months of lockdown. And so I said, this can't stand. This will not stand. I cannot do this. I will not stand for this stupidity from these seagulls, because they were scaring away everything else. And I'm like, all that's left is that little that I see in the backyard. All I see left is that stupid little, or not stupid, but the little pair of mockingbirds with the little babies, and everything else is leaving us. Everything is going away because these damn seagulls are scaring everything else away. So I said I have to do something about it. Well, I go and look up bird law, like actual bird law for us, not for birds. I don't, they have their own law. That's their own thing. They have Birdopedia and Bird Google, but I looked up the actual bird law. And apparently, you can't kill birds. You pretty much can't kill any bird in America. You might say, well, you can go out there and kill mallards or whatever in hunting season. Yes, that's true. If you have a license during a certain season, you can kill certain birds, but you can't kill every bird. And you can't just randomly, like I was going to do, go out there with a bow and arrow, and hunt just stray seagulls. For whatever reason, I guess there's some good reason for it. I know that back in like the 1800s or whatever, we wiped out like 4 billion carrier pigeons in the matter of like 20 years, and so we probably want to shy away from just wiping out entire species of animals just because we don't particularly like them. I think Mao back in the earlier days of the Chinese, republic or whatever they are now, I think he killed a couple billion sparrows as well, which indirectly led to like a massive famine that killed hundreds of millions of people. And it's I'm not laughing, but it's just those unintended consequences are, I guess, why we have the laws the way they are set up. So we're at a point where I can't kill them. I can't really harm them. And so I started looking at forums in those same bird law posts to see some way of getting rid of these seagulls. So apparently you can move, if they nest on your property, you can move the nest without destroying the nest, without destroying the bird eggs. You can move it off your property. Now, they weren't nesting there as far as I knew, or nesting anywhere around our property as far as I knew. So I had to figure something else out. I came across a post. Of one guy that said, down here, we use water cannons to scare off the birds. I said, huh? Water cannons, you say? And, the post went on to say they have big water cannons on some docks. And I don't know this because I'm not a big fisherman. I'm not a big boat enthusiast or, water sport or craft enthusiast. So I don't know. But they have cannons at certain areas and certain ports, because the seagulls, of course, will just shit on everything if you don't scare them off. If you don't get them away from the area, there's poop on everything. And apparently, seagull poop got something like 7 or 8 people hospitalized in like 2018, just in that 1 year alone. Like 7 or 8 people in the country were hospitalized from being around so much. God, it's not funny. I don't think any of them died, but they were hospitalized. They were hospitalized for being around so much seagull poop because it contains some sort of bacteria that can infect you and get you pretty well sick. And so people have adopted these water cannon methods to scare them away. So I said, okay, well, I don't have a water cannon, but what I do have is a water hose with a pretty strong, pressure gauge on it. And that became my answer to the seagulls. I said, you know what, buddy, I can't hit you with some people even said like BB guns can be too powerful, but sometimes like a lower power paintball can smack them and they'll run off. But I said, I don't have that. I'm not going to go buy one just for this. So I said, we're going to go with water hose cannon, kind of hybrid, little water hose, spigot cannon. And so what I did was I got that water hose attachment. I got some soot because it smells. It's really fatty. It's really sweet. And you can smell it. Like the human can smell it. So if you can smell it, then maybe, I don't know. I don't know if birds can smell, but you can see it. I just got a big chunk. I said, okay, it's juicy. It's brown. It really stands out against the green grass at the time. I went out there and waited for 1 or 2 to be flying overhead, doing little scouting missions. I said, okay, there you go. Here's one for you. And when they would swoop down, I would just unleash hell on them. I would just open that sucker up, smack them right in the face or the neck, and they would just, go, "Arr, arr, arr," do the stupid little seagull squawk and just go flying off or running off if they couldn't fly immediately. I remember my most successful run. You could say I had it must have been 15, 18 or more seagulls flocking overhead. And when they would even get close, just to kind of like crowd control, just to control the situation, I would just spray them when they got too close. And you could see them. You could see 1 or 2 flying around, and then you'd see them start to make their little descent coming down to pick up the little soot. I would say, no, sir. And I would just aim. You have to lead them too, because it's not like a gun, where you can just lead them by a millimeter, and it's pretty much going to hit the target. You have to kind of, even with a high-powered water hose, you got to lead them a little bit more. And so I learned the leading method, and they would come in, and I'd be like, bam, hit them. And sometimes they would, just like reel back in confused agony, not agony, but I'm sure it gave them a little bit of a love tap there. And I said, look, birds, what I'm doing here is legal. Okay, you can't get a lawyer. You're flying over my property. Technically, this is our airspace. We have, up until like 30 or 40 feet. This is all of our airspace, and down all the way to the center of the earth. So you're coming onto my property. I'm not killing you. I'm not trying to kill you, and I'm not shooting any projectile at you other than water. So don't go run into your bird lawyers and bird lawyering up on me, because that ain't gonna help you. I'm doing this legit. And so that day I probably stood out there for, it felt like an hour, just waiting for them to come down, and one would peel off and just say, okay, I get the message, because they're not stupid. Generally, the bigger something is, the smarter it is. Like whales are, well, it's hard to tell with whales because we can't really interact with them too much, but dolphins are pretty smart. They're also mammals though, so that makes sense. Parrots and parakeets are pretty smart. Ravens are pretty smart, and seagulls are pretty smart because, like I said, they would learn. Everyone knows pain. Everyone knows discomfort, and so that's all you're trying to do is to give them pain without permanent damage, and give them that discomfort level where they don't want to come back to your area. Because I knew to myself, I said, after this pandemic is over, or after we start to be able to get back out there onto the beach, they're going to start heading back out there. And sure enough, a few months later, after all the rest of the birds were gone, they left too, because humans started to kind of populate the beach again and populate all the island again and the coastal areas again. But yeah, there was one There was one bird that didn't care. There was one guy, he just didn't give a shit. He just said, "We're gonna come down here." He powered through like the entire stream. That sucker was, I mean, a foot away, and it actually hurt your hand. And they were a good, 10 to 15 feet away. So it leveled off somewhat. It laid off him a little bit. But there was one sucker, I said, you know what? If you're going to grab this piece of food, you're going to earn it. And he earned it. But he took that stream directly in the face for like a solid half second. And then I hit him directly in the chest for the rest of his little flight down. He picked up a piece of it. He tried to pick up the whole thing, but it broke off. I said, that's what you get. And as he was flying away, I kept hitting him. And he looked like he was about to go down for a second. Like he looked like, like when you smack somebody in the face and they get kind of dazed. He looked like he was about to go down. And I would have laid into him. I would have showed him. I said, "You see this, birds? This is your fate. Come take it if you want it." But I mean, I'm not going to be that. No, I would be that mean. It's not even mean. Like I said, I'm trying to protect the natural order of the area. I don't want my backyard to be just fucking seagulls. That's boring. Like I said, I could have waited a few months, like I knew, and just go down to the beach and see that shit if I wanted to. That's nothing. Now the grackles, are still the most common bird, but I can't really do too much about that. I'm not gonna shoot them away because they don't scare any other birds away. The grackles don't scare the hummingbirds, don't scare the mockingbirds, don't scare the woodpecker, don't scare the little finches and sparrows. None of the other birds scare each other except for the seagulls. The seagulls scare all the other birds away. So I did what I had to do, and I'm proud of myself for that. God, I didn't even pick up telling the story until like 15 minutes in. I'm gonna have to delete the first 15 minutes of the stream. So yeah, me versus seagulls. They won a few battles, but I won the war. I think that's what matters. And all of us kind of won now that everything started to get back to order. Even though there wasn't a lot of tourism, which this area pretty heavily relies on, businesses did get back into swing, and you did start to notice all the seagulls leaving. Because it's cold down here, and they don't leave. Like some birds leave, they don't leave. They're still here. They hang out in like the Walmart parking lots. They hang out in, the HEB parking lots. They hang out in all the parking lots down here that they can get their paws on. They get their claws on, their talons. But they eventually left our populated neighborhoods and went back to the ocean, from whence they came. My second topic is let me see. I'm gonna find this. There you go. My second topic is return to Monke. You're finally awake. That fall looked really bad. Industrialized society? Humans? What are you talking about? Let's go eat ants. What is this one? Man destroys. Monke creates. So this meme, let me go find Know Your Meme. There you go. Let's do this. I like this better. Return to Monke. Status confirmed. Origin unknown. Year 2019. Okay. It's a viral debate. I like that. I like that type. I like that category. We're gonna have to explore that one day. Sephora, you don't even know me. Google, you don't even know my likes and dislikes. Why are you giving me these horrible ads? So what is Return to Monke? Return to Monke encompasses a series of memes closely associated with anarcho-primitivism that romanticize a simplistic, archaic lifestyle with apes. That romanticize a simplistic, archaic lifestyle with apes, often referred to as monkeys or monkeys without the Y, serving as a symbolic representation of that lifestyle. The meme often features an intentionally simplified language and is closely associated with similar traditionalist memes such as reject modernity, return to tradition, and consume product. So it's this sort of not revisionist, but it's a very cynical look on, I guess, modern society. And returning to monkey, I guess, is the act of returning to a simpler time, I guess, in human culture, in human development, in human evolution. Fuck this! I'm going back to monkey. The reason this is relevant, the reason this popped up in my head, besides the fact that I just randomly saw this the other day, was because, well, I heard we got a new president, and that's what people tell me. I don't know, and not that he wants to return to monkey, but when you start talking about shifts in power, political shifts, socioeconomic, macro issues like this, everything starts to become somewhat relevant. And so, I saw this meme before, like sometime last year, and it just triggered that memory in my mind. Because that's how my mind works. I think about one thing, and then memes pop up. Memes are always the first thing to pop up, right? Memes pop up, ideas pop up, everything starts to flow, and everything starts to recollect in that associative order. So you think about, like I'm looking at my Mewtwo box right here, Pokemon, and I start thinking about things that I've done playing Pokemon, or places that I bought Pokemon cards. Just things related to that. And so Biden becoming president sort of made me think of all these socio-political, socio-economic topics. And Return to Monkey was one of the ones that popped up. I'm gonna try to stick to just about 10 minutes on this topic because, again, I could go all night. Everyone hydrate. If you got a water, take a few seconds to hydrate. Return to monkey. Return to Monke. Return to monk. How does one return to monk? You really don't. And that's the honest truth. You really, really don't. Everything is sort of designed to keep you in your nicely made collared shirt produced by sad, poor Indonesians for 2 cents a day or whatever that they get paid down there. On your $1,100 laptop that you use to bitch about that fact to the world. But it's hard, okay? That's part of the issue. That's part of the problem. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism. So as guilty as I am of being a product of capitalism and a benefactor of capitalism, you can't do anything with a good conscience under the system. And that's kind of part of why this meme has developed. That's part of why it's even sprung up into the world, because it's the reality of the current economic and I guess political system. Everything ties together. Oh, excuse me. Everything is separate, but everything is related. Nothing's important, and everything's important. Right? Last show, little callback there. So it's inescapable, and that inescapability is the reason that Return to Monkey is even a thing. It's even a thought, because that inescapability breeds the angst, the anguish. The anguish breeds the angst. It leads to each other, kind of like in Star Wars when Yoda said, He's angry. Angry leads to hate. Hate leads to sadness, whatever. And sadness, is a path to the dark side. I don't know the exact quote. I'm sorry, but it's basically this: the inescapable truth of modern day life eventually leads to the rejection of that life by the liver, by the person, not the human liver. I'm pointing at my liver. I don't know where my liver is, so I'm just pointing at my stomach in general, but not the human liver, the human person existing in this society, existing in the way that we do exist. Either it seems to be polarizing too. Like, there's not a whole lot of people who are just like, this is okay, There's not a lot of folks that haven't had a lot of thought about our current modern life. It seems to be maybe 10 to 30% of everyone actually enjoying it. Like a good maybe 50 to 60%, or 70% even, that want to change, want something different. And then maybe somewhere in there you could take some percentages away. 5 to 10% of people actually just don't really have any original thought and just kind of wake up and get married and have kids and go to work and do their own little thing without actually thinking about too much. That's possible. That's totally possible too. But the simple act of existence and the fact that you have a mind to think about these things will force the issues of forming conclusions based on your own existence, based on your own experience. And that's what Return to Monke is. Now, do I want to return to Monke? I don't know. I don't know if I want to return to Monke exactly, but I don't know if I'm going to return to Monke. I think there has to be there's got to be some answer to this, because part of why I'm here is to kind of pursue my interests. Back before this was a thing, I was going to say back before the first person streamed, but I'm sure the first person streamed like back in 1982, and we just never knew about it. Because the first person to ever text was like 1988 or some shit like that, some ridiculous time frame. But back before streaming was popular, back before Twitch was Twitch and it was still Justin TV, back before YouTube, radio broadcasting was one of my areas of interest. I thought about going to either, film school or broadcasting school. Because one, I've heard that I have a decent voice for radio, and thank you for everyone who says that. At one point, I had a face for radio, which now, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit nicer. Maybe now I have a voice and a face for a camera, somewhere in the middle. Not counting, this top of my head. I have an alright face now. It's acceptable. But anyway, radio broadcasting was one of my top 5, I guess, interests in school and in life, just in general. Because I grew up listening to, well, not really NPR. I just grew up listening to sports stuff here and there. Listening to folks in the background. Like whenever you put this on, or you put a YouTube person on, and just kind of listen to them in the background. Essentially podcasts, because you can't see somebody if you're not actually watching them, if you're not actually paying attention. So I essentially grew up with podcasts and radio, YouTube stuff. Well, videos before. I don't even know where you hosted them back in the day, but wherever you hosted them back before 07 or 08, whenever YouTube came out, I grew up on that stuff, and I had an interest in that stuff. And part of why I'm doing this now is because I had an interest in that stuff, and now I'm pursuing that stuff. I'm pursuing my interests on here, talking to you guys. I'm going to find a way to extract this audio if possible, put it up onto podcasting, purely audio podcasting places. I'm going to download it and put it on YouTube. Ooh, I thought those burps were gone. Because not necessarily because I want to influence people, but because in this world there's no point in doing anything if you're not earning money from it. And that's the sad reality, is you're worth nothing unless you can earn money off of the things you do. Like if you wake up and you're not making money 5 or 6 days out of the week, just society just destroys you, and it just lays into you. Your parents, your family, women. Oh, try to date out there without having a good job, and see how far you get. It's not easy. Even if girls do say you're handsome or whatever, or you have a nice voice, or you have a good outlook or a good attitude, without that money, you see how far you get. Hydrate. I should do like a water case giveaway. Just give away cases of water. So yeah, existence is currently tied to how much money you can make, how many hours you can work. Oh my God, that seems to be more of like a poor person thing than a rich person thing, because so much of our life, so much of our money earning potential is tied to how many hours we work. And that's I'm not going to get too far. Again, I'm already approaching my time limit here on this, but the point is for poor folks, a lot of our value is based on the amount of time that we can and will work. And we work 10-hour days, 5-6 days a week, and only have a few hours on the nights and weekend to rest up in response to the work week, or rest up for the next work week. And it just this cycle. It's this ridiculous cycle that's inescapable. And some folks, like I said, some folks say it's the way it is. Some folks don't have to work that way, and they get to go to work for 8 hours a day, 7 hours a day, whatever it is, get paid well, go home and have all the energy in the world to do whatever they want to, have all the money in the world to go to the doctor because their healthcare is heavily subsidized. They have the money for all the streaming services and all their 75-inch 4K wraparound, 3D whatever TVs, and they have money and time and energy to do stuff afterwards. And so that section of the population is just happy to keep going with it. And then you have what seems to be this overwhelming majority of people like me and like us, maybe, that almost want to return to Monke, or just has to look for a way out, because it's a system that only benefits the top 10, 20, maybe 30% of the population. Is one, unsustainable, and two, just plainly unacceptable. It's just plainly unacceptable. I can't continue to live in this system that says, well, maybe you'll be okay one day. That's completely unacceptable. I'm not even going to say my opinion. It's just flat out a universal truth that is unacceptable. And you can argue about it with me all day, but I'm not going to argue that point. I'm not going to concede the point that fewer and fewer people benefiting from the average life is bad. It's just flat out bad. So, in essence, return to Monke is just one of the options. Like return to L.A. or was it New York when Kurt Russell hit the reset button and said, you know what, we're going back to the Stone Age. We're gonna start again. We're gonna try again, because I just saw something on my screen. Oh, I see what it is. It's text. Okay. I'm an idiot. And he resets the whole system. That's kind of what Return to Monke is. It's one of those desperate but somewhat understandable and reasonable conclusions that people get after they think about their silly existence, if they even have time to think about it, Now, there are plenty of other options to actually enact in a, within any given political system, within any given social system. But I just thought that this is one, it's funny. because obviously you take off the Y and you say it's stupid and it's just a funny meme. But just like all other jokes, every joke has some kernel of truth. And most of the good jokes, most of the greatest comedians are deeply troubled, deeply saddened. You know, the best comedies always start with the worst dramas, I guess you could say. Heck, they even used to be the same thing back in the Greek days. But yeah, Return of Monke. I don't know. Maybe we'll come back to possible solutions for our current socioeconomic climate. Maybe we'll come back tomorrow and talk about some more options. Now, my third topic here, as I am nearing 45 minutes, we might go. Am I going to do this again? I am going to do this again. If you got to this point in the video, thank you. I appreciate it. My last topic is the first one I wrote for yesterday to put on to today. Elon Musk. I'm not going to start this because I only like keeping folks here for about 15 minutes or so. Currently. Later on, maybe we'll go further. Maybe. Hopefully, we'll go longer. Because if I can sit here and talk for 2 or 3 hours at a time, and folks actually want to talk, and there's enough people coming along to interact, and that's fine. We'll go longer in the future. But we're gonna move Elon Musk to tomorrow, okay? And I am gonna start spamming these out here, because if I can't have quality, well, what does everyone else have? Quantity. So Elon Musk, we're putting him on the top of the list tomorrow, okay? We're going to get to Elon Musk. You know what? We'll start with Elon Musk tomorrow, and we're just going to go from there, okay? For now, we have about 10 minutes before it's an hour, before the hour mark gets here. So first I'm going to hydrate. Hydrate. I was gonna talk, but I might as well get a little bit more in there for the last 10 minutes or so. Who is with me right now? Who's my 1 or 2 viewers, or 5 viewers for all I know? Because this thing always says 1 or 2, and then other folks are like, "Oh, you have 5 people on at any given time." If you don't want to talk, you don't have to. I'm just curious who's actually here with me. Is it Virus or is it Nomptious? I almost want to say if it's neither one of you guys, that's fine. Or it's probably somebody that has me on in the background, which is fine too. If I had 1 million people with me on in the background, I would be set. I'd be a happy boy. So and not Elon Musk news. And the reason I don't want to touch him right now is, one, because I like to keep this format short and simple. Oh man, I just saw the reading, and it picked up like 95% of that burp. I'm so sorry. Okay, I haven't eaten for like 2 hours. The fact that I'm even still burping right now is upsetting to me, and I am sorry to you guys. But the reason I don't want to hit on Musk, if I didn't make it crystal clear before, is because I want to keep this more to be a shorter hour or so format. Because honestly, if I don't make it bigger on Twitch, that's fine. Because I know for a fact I can extract this audio and put this into a podcast. I can download it and put it on the YouTube. And there might even be other stuff in the future that I can spread around this audio or video, or a whole show too. Both. But, well, like I said yesterday, keeping it short, one, helps me keep the content flowing better. Because it's really hard to talk at the words per minute that I've achieved for over an hour and a half. I've done it one time or twice so far, and I've done it pretty well. But it's not the easiest thing to do, especially without show notes, or with minimal show notes, without a script writer, professional script writer anyway, without a team of writers. It's not as easy as it looks on TV to be entertaining for an hour straight. I will tell you that much so far. And I'd like to say that if I'm not entertaining, I'm at least distracting for an hour straight. If I go any more than 10 seconds without talking, and I'm not just, rehydrating, you're welcome to, to flame me up in chat or come to my socials and just talk shit about me. But that is one thing that I think I've done so far, or done well so far, is keep that words per minute, keep that chatting up, keep that talking up, keep that hopefully entertainment up. And if not entertainment, at least information, right? The infotainment. But yeah, I've only got a few minutes left. 10 minutes. I have about 9 or 10 minutes left. So Elon Musk himself can take up an hour or more. So we're not gonna touch on him. But I will say, this has been pretty fun so far. Whether or not I get, if I get 1 view, that's great. If I get 30 views, that's great. Like I was saying yesterday, I'm sorry. I said this on, I did say it yesterday. I got like 40 or 50 views on certain videos that were just, off the cuff, random ass shit. I think it was Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 or 3 that I got all those views on. But whether I get 1, 2, or none, this has actually been a pretty fun experience. And the reason I mention that is because I have an old, well, I say old, it's an old computer, an old PC sitting in the living room right now. This is my aunt's laptop. I just get like unlimited access to it, basically. They do a lot of printing. She does, I don't know, where is she? She might be over there in the other room. But she does a lot of printing, and I do a lot of streaming. So it ends up working out well. But the PC I have over there sitting there is powerful enough to stream. The problem for me is it's not arguably more powerful than this one, but the fact that this one doesn't have a good fan or a good cooling system means that even though this one has the same or better graphics card than my desktop, the fact that it heats up in like 20 minutes when I do anything besides the simplest task sort of negates any actual power that this laptop has. And so it's actually resetting right now. It might be done factory resetting. But I have a buddy, Jose, if you see this, thumbs up. Keep doing what you're doing. But I want to trade him this laptop. He's a music producer, and I want to get some, just put some music in the bank for me. Get some custom beats, maybe some longer custom tracks, and trade him this computer, or trade him that computer rather, to kind of get him the same game that I'm doing. Now, right off the bat, he's probably going to get more views than I do on average, and that's fine. This is a different format. When I started on Twitch, I pretty much said, if Twitch just ends up being the recording, but with an extra bonus, then that's fine. Like basically, if it ends up being practically, if I'm recording and I'm recording for a podcast, okay, well I can go back in there and edit this stuff as needed. If I'm doing this for YouTube, I can go back in there and edit the stuff as needed. So why not just throw Twitch in there? Why not just stream your recording and have another outlet of, future audience, maybe even revenue in the future interactions. But that's what I mean by recording with a bonus. If I'm already going to record what I'm talking about, what I'm doing, I might as well just start here. And the format does change a little bit. Like I'm not going to I wouldn't sit here and record 4 or 5 hours of me doing the talking parts of a video essay, for example. Like if you're doing a video essay, you want to go in there, find your topic, get your script, find the video, find the pictures you're going to be needing, set it up on video, and then record the audio. And you want to kind of do it that way throughout the whole thing. So I'm probably not going to be doing that on stream, but for 30-minute, 45-minute, 1 hour, or even longer podcast type stuff that I'm going to put on YouTube eventually, that I'm going to put onto, I think I can put it onto podcasting places. I'm pretty sure I can extract the audio from this. It's been a long, long time, but it's 2021. I'm pretty sure that there's technology out there to extract just the audio. But from doing that, from doing this kind of stuff, it's easily transferable. Not every format, not every production is easily transferable, like I just mentioned. But this is like that, the easiest thing. And if I do this 4 or 5 times a week or more, it's great practice. I can already feel myself getting into that better groove of tempo. I'm not saying too much. I'm not smacking my lips as much as I used to. Of getting my voice tempered, of getting my voice trained, almost like a voice actor, or almost like a singer. It does take a while to get to that point where you can consistently belt out those hard notes, those hard tunes, or tones rather, I guess. The only thing I can't ignore, the only thing I have not fixed so far, is down here, my sinuses are always acting crazy, and I vape. And right now, I don't have the best coil in there. I have some weird, janky ass coil. It works, but it doesn't work the best. So I've been, so I just fake coughed into a real cough. But I've been coughing a little bit more than I need to. So the climate down here plus me vaping has led to certain. God, there's a nice. Oh God, phlegm. Come on, I'm failing now the last few minutes. But yeah, everything, the climate down here, and my bad habits down here have led to certain. I can't even think of a good word for this. Inconsistency in my speech patterns, I guess you could say. I don't know. We'll just go with that. But yeah, the PC is currently being reset for my buddy, and like I said, I want to get him into the game. You know, give him that little taste and get him hooked. It's fun. This has all been fun. So he's going to do well. I think he's going to do well. I'm eventually going to do well. I have more views. Just speaking of my own experience so far, I have more views on YouTube, but I have more subs here. But I would say overall my subs on YouTube are probably more substantial. Substantive. There you go. Everything is sub. But yeah, everything on YouTube is probably more substantial as far as the subscribers go. But I have more here. But I have more views over there. So it's like just learning about all these apps, learning about all these websites, learning all the interactions between all the supporting apps, supporting software has been interesting. Like I'm using Streamlabs right now. I was using just the regular open broadcasting source system, the original OBS, the first OBS everyone uses, and now I'm using Streamlabs OBS, and I figured out how to link my Twitter, which was not the easiest thing. I figured out that YouTube doesn't allow links to your Twitter anymore. Go figure. No wonder I couldn't do it. And this is all coming from somebody who hasn't done anything more technical than go and look up YouTube videos in the past 10 years before I started doing this. So it's all been a fun little experience, picking everything up and learning as I go. And the more I do this every day, the more that not just my presentation skills get better, the more that my technical skills get better. Because even though I've learned so much, there's still a long way to go. There's custom overlays, apparently. There's an info box on on Twitch in the About Me section that is completely empty because I don't know how to customize it better. There's clips which I can do, which I've done before. To be fair, I know how to do that. That I just don't always do. There's a different there's different screens if you're affiliated apparently to get better thumbnails for your videos. There's different, like 20 different video and audio editing softwares out there, and I've tried like 2 or 3 of them between free and paid. And so just this world of information and support, and it's all products again. You know, nobody's doing it for charity, or nobody's doing it for fun. Maybe some are, but not the good ones. But just this world of supporting information and technology and support is a bit overwhelming at first, but I think I'm getting there. I think I'm getting there. I think a lot of folks get in there, and I think we're all going to get there, you know. So it's about an hour right now. With Jesus, was that an hour with two topics? Again, am I getting better or worse? I don't know. We'll let everyone be the judge of that. So this has been the Wednesday show. There's not really a name for this. I was thinking of calling it like the road most traveled, you know, playing off the fact that everyone and their mom has a podcast talk show. Everyone and their mom has wanted to be famous or influential, at least. If not rich and famous, at least have their voice heard and have people thought, or have thought themselves that people are influenced by their words, by their actions, by their ambiance, by their aura. I'll take a little bit of all that if anybody's got any. Anyway, thanks for coming to the Wednesday show. We'll call it the road most traveled for now, and we'll see if that's not taken up on whatever streaming service or whatever podcasting service I end up using. It probably is. All the common shit probably is. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow with Elon Musk as the topic, and maybe more. Or I mean, there'll be more. I just don't know what it's going to be. I'll say that much. It's going to be something else, but I'm not sure exactly what it will be. Yeah. Whoa, here we go. One more time. Hydrate. Maybe that'll be a topic. People who never fucking drink water and somehow aren't like the driest, crispiest sand creatures on Earth. Maybe I'm going to add that. No water drinking. Hold on. You're going to stay here and watch me do this. No water drinking sand people. Because honestly, I don't know how you guys do it. Hey, there we go. There's 2 topics right there. Anyway, thanks for coming along. It's been our time. I don't want to keep you too long, so I will let you go. Follow me on Twitter. Go check my YouTube under the same name, Smug Jackalope. There's really nothing else to promote, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys get on out of here and get on to your next stream or video or homework or life, whatever. Thanks for coming by. I'll see you guys around.